Good morning again, and welcome to Wise Women Weekdays. We've been joined by Natalia.
Hi.
And Jane Hedgewitch is here.
Hi.
And I'm Lucinda Wild. And Jane is going to tell us about plants that are going to save the world.
Great.
What are they going to save the world from, Jane? How are they going to do it? Are they going to get in tanks?
They are actually, there's one, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, yarrow is anti-nuclear pollution. They've used it around Chernobyl and Fukushima.
Wow. Can you say that second word again?
Is that, have I said it right?
I don't know.
Fukushima. Fukushima.
I'm just really impressed that you can say it. I can't, can you?
Fukushima.
Fukushima.
I nearly spat out my dentures. But yeah, no, just that's, I mean, plants that save the world, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
Yarrow can save us from nuclear war. Shall we tell Putin that?
Well, I don't think it's just Putin, is it? But also, yarrow is a multi-dimensional, which we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Multi-dimensional plant, which I'm only just learning about. So, do you know the I Ching?
Yes.
Chinese
Yes.
kind of oracle. So, years ago, originally, you had yarrow sticks, and it was called the yarrow oracle. So, I guess it somehow tunes into other dimensions or brings them in. And we were talking about the hawthorn, because hawthorn is very much a gateway to the fairy realms, which is lovely. And I think possibly all beings, all plants must be multidimensional as we are.
Yes.
How are we multidimensional, Jane?
Mind, body and spirit.
Okay.
But equally we can be more in tune, so to speak, with some people see fairies, don't they? Some people see nature spirits, elementals. Our lovely friend Ruth, who's a shamanic practitioner, she works with predominantly the angelics.
Yeah.
So the angelic realm, which are just higher beings on a high level.
And then you've got the chakra system that we have within ourselves. So
Yeah.
these are energetic frequencies that we're on. So,
Vibrating out. And I think that's with plants.
Yeah.
Plants that are grown here will have a similar frequency vibration compared to something grown in a polytunnel in Spain, for instance.
For sure.
So it will nourish you on a spirit, on a energetic level.
Yes.
As well as having, if it's a wild one, having more medicinal and bioactive compounds available to.
So it's just you know what Jane was saying. I mean, multi-dimensional. We're emotional, we're physical, we're mental, we're kind of spiritual. We're kind of and they're all kind of interplaying with each other.
Some of us are more mental than others. Yeah. So some of those people that are more mental than others take tablets to stop the mentalness.
And then tablets for the side effects of those tablets, and then you go down the slippery slope and start
And often
rattling.
those tablets are just suppressants, aren't they?
Yes.
Really, not really
Healing.
often. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't heal, do they? They harm.
I think we're in a system where it's not about healing people.
No,
is it?
it's continuously
reliance.
being slightly unwell.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk through the plants on your list of plants that will save the world. So yarrow is a Fukushima.
For the
nuclear
I have to look at these because there's so many, and I'm really just learning them. So for me, yarrow was always a topical thing to stop bleeding, but it
And how would you just pick a leaf and then stick
you
it on
could
a
kind of
cut?
almost like mush it in your mouth and shove it on, and it helps with the coagulation or whatever it is, where it stops your blood coming out, doesn't it?
There's a mushroom for that as well, isn't there?
Ooh, well, there's a mushroom. Well, same with herbs. There's a mushroom for every disease in the planet.
Absolutely.
So there's a mushroom and a plant for every disease.
It's just
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Mr Tizer.
yes. So So yeah, even it's been scientifically proven to help with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, preventing tumour proliferation, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, anti-astringent, a hypertensive, cardiodepressant, a vasculator with bronchodilatory effects. Bronchial is your chest, isn't it?
So if you've got like a chest infection, a bit like the lurgy, that could really help cure it or really alleviate long-term symptoms for people that have got long lurgy.
Along with I would say hawthorn for the heart.
Yes.
Because those two seem to be going together.
Yes.
We have a tincture here for that, don't we? Dandelion, there's dandelion.
And that's the hawthorn.
Hawthorn.
Oh, can I have a squirt, or is it one that
It's one
you're selling?
No,
I've got one. I've got one of yours already. I'll be
we
having
use
mine at
them
home.
quite often for our meditation group, don't we?
Okay. Yeah.
So again, that's a point. So double hawthorn, I've used the blossoms and the leaves in the summer, and then the berries in the autumn, and you just put them in
The
back
double
into
fermentation process.
and into the alcohol.
Yes.
But so hawthorn is all for the circulatory system. It supports the heart muscle. It stops your arteries furring. But the most important thing is it with your blood pressure. If it's low or high, it will keep it on an even keel. So, and then when we've done meditations together on a spiritual level, it's a heart opener. So we take it and then listen to some solfeggio, heart, chakra, particular music, and then that's just a really lovely way to meditate.
That sounds really nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. And you've got this other thing here that you've got, it says, plantain. Is that like those big Jamaican banana-y things? Or is it something different?
It's they are the same name, but I think they're probably spelt the same. No, this is a real weed. In Native Americans called it white men's footsteps because it almost likes being walked on and driven on and everything. And they have round leaves, and they're just, if I could show you a picture, you'd recognise it. And they have long leaves as well. But they're known, especially in America, as the magic leaf because people traditionally make their own salves and balms, and it's brilliant for any skin infection or skin irritation or skin anything. But what I didn't know is it's also a global herbal traditional plant for being antibiotic, antiseptic. Scientifically proven health benefits include cardiovascular, gastric systems, good for the liver, prevents carcinogenic synthesis, so helps against cancer basically, especially around the bladder and the bone, etc., etc. It just goes on. So my theory that I'm sort of coming to is that climate change or pollution or anything, we just need to go back to these things that we've lost the...
I was literally walking kind of yesterday along a path on the downs, and the plantain, I noticed the plantain, and it was literally speaking to me, and I was like, okay, well, not right now. It was blowing and it was wet. Now that you say that, so I've got something going on with my chest and heart,
which is associated with long lurgy. Yeah?
Well, yes, and also I had this cold. This is a pattern that I've had. So fortunately, it's not kind of, I haven't got any infection there, but it's an old pattern.
Yeah, it's a weak spot, isn't it?
And just that you said the cardiovascular is just seems right.
Oh.
You know, and also what I love about it is to identify it for anybody if you want to go and get some. Is you pull the leaves apart and it's almost like, looks like you've got guitar strings there.
Yes.
It's very particular, isn't it?
Yeah,
that sort of elastic kind of, but inside it's got those almost like the gut of the
leaf. Yes, it's very stringy. Yes. Yes. So you could. Someone was talking to me about. I forgot what they called. You put the herb in water and boil it, and then it steams, and you collect the steam, and that's what you use. Well, you could put your head over some hot water with it in and stuff like that, couldn't you?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just trying to think of how to get it into
ingest it like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because through the what's it called? What's that thing? Membranes. So your nasal.
It's the membranes that are the
yeah.
sorbet, actually.
Yeah.
And
goes
I just
through the
thought about
membranes
those
into the
stringy
blood,
bits.
yeah.
Yes.
The stringy bits, because also we have that. What is that thing where it reflects that the word about nature reflecting our
Yes, and that's its
physiognomy.
use
Yeah.
for, say, liverwort, because
Right.
it looks like unhappy liver with spots.
Yeah, exactly.
An unhappy liver with spots.
Yes, so liverwort is a wild plant, but it's the leaves are sort of liver shaped and they got spots on.
My old next door neighbour, he told us, didn't he, that if you eat foods that look like a body part, then it directly nourishes that. So walnuts for the brain,
yeah.
tomatoes for the heart, obviously not grown in a tunnel, in a polytunnel in Spain,
Yeah.
but from the garden in the summer,
Yes.
Yeah.
which are
absolutely.
natural and unfertilised, grown in
Yes.
healthy horse poo.
Yes, all that. Yeah, no, I think that's very true, actually.
What are your other magical herbs you got there?
Well,
You've got
actually,
two more,
I
I've
should.
noticed.
I should actually. Did we talk about the stinging
We
nettle?
did talk about stinging nettles, but
Oh,
we
please
can always
talk again,
recap on
because they
stinging
are
nettles.
amazing.
Well,
aren't
you
they?
might
They're
have
the
to read.
best.
The list is.
Do you want me to
Yeah, go on, you
recap
go.
on stinging nettles?
Yeah.
I can't see that, but it has literally every possible thing a stinging nettle can fix. So it's an analgesic, pain relief, anti-allergenic, no more Piriton, anti-arthritic, again, it's going to be anti-inflammatory. We've got antibacterial, anti-carcinogenic, that's a big word for a Tuesday. It's not a Tuesday, is it?
Any day it's a big word.
Thursday begins with T. Thursday.
I was halfway there.
You were.
Anti-carcinogenic, so anti-cancer. You know, so leek and potato soup with an addition of nettles, a tasty addition. Vitamins is going to
Yes.
be
Really high
boosting
in
your immune
vitamins,
system
isn't
to
it?
prevent cancer.
Natural kind
But
of.
also,
Antifungal.
it's naturally food available.
Yes,
Taking
exactly.
a tablet doesn't. Body
Exactly.
doesn't recognise it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's antifungal, anti-inflammatory, anti-flu, antimicrobial. I mean, obviously, you're not going to slap your feet with stinging nettles to get rid of athlete's foot, but you could boil it, put it into a balm.
Can
Yes.
I say a story about this
Yeah.
that I heard? So a guy who had an accident, a motorbike accident, he lost the use of his legs, and they told him he would never walk again. So he was in a wheelchair, and he heard about stinging nettles, and he, for 2 years, he rolled himself into patches of stinging nettles and thrashing his neck to stimulate. And after 2 years, he started to be able to walk, and he then started walking. So that, if you've ever picked, like hand-picked, I'm sure you have, stinging nettles, the kind of intense sort of nerve and burning reaction that you can really understand how it stimulates the body in that way. And I think that is, I mean, it's a miracle, isn't it? It sounds like a miracle, but obviously if you're somebody faced with a situation like that, you're going to want to try different things, and I think it's amazing that kind of thing happens.
That
So-
shows that he had real strength of courage to go and
Yes,
do
it's a
that to
long
himself every day.
Totally.
And Roman soldiers did it as a preparation for battle.
Yeah, sure. It
And they were
stimulates the
about as
whole-
tough as you could get.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so nettles turn you into a man.
And a woman.
And a manly woman.
Yeah, manly woman.
A strong woman.
It's also got astringent, decongestant, detoxifying, diuretic, expectorant, a word that I can't say, I'm not even going to try to say, and a few others. Hemostatic, which is blood, herpetic, which is liver, hypoglycemic, blood, immunostimulant, stimulates the immune system, insecticides, gets rid of intestinal bugs, cleanses the kidneys. It's nutritious, relaxing, restorative. It's also a stimulant. I guess it must be different doses of nettle will have different effects on the body. It also is benefiting neurological dysfunctions. We need to harness the power of this plant in whatever way we can.
Histamine's another one as well.
Histamines, yes.
The other, can I just say, you might have mentioned this already, but with all these things, there's often a season for them, because it's not good to have nettle after about May, when they're growing their seeds. So the male, because it what's inside them is changing and getting, so when you eat them, it's more difficult for the liver and kidneys to digest. I can't remember what the acid is, or what you might know, but it that goes up highly when they're producing their male seeds, and you can tell that because they just hang off. So that's right up until May, and then often there's a flush, a new flush, isn't there? In kind of like,
keeps kind of going
like
again.
either early winter or early spring. You get the lovely sort of little buds, the fresh young leaves that are bright green.
Yeah, they're about that big at the moment. So
and you just
in a month's
pick
time
them
you'll
out
be able
like
to,
this.
And
those
you can
are
eat
the
the
really good.
seeds.
Yeah, the
Right.
seeds are
Seeds
great
are brilliant.
provider of energy and vitality, flushing the adrenals. We all need our adrenals flushing, and good for skin, hair and eyes. Jog on, Mr Clarence.
Yes, it's
We've got
really good
nettle
as a
seeds.
shampoo.
Yeah.
And I think it is related to hemp, because it also talks about it as a fabric, and people have knitted with it's very fibrous, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
You can make, what's it called? Nettlecrete, like hempcrete. It's a concrete made out of the plant. And
So we
it's
could
like
build
super.
a house out of nettles.
Yeah. And they put more nitrogen in the soil, a bit like beans do.
Naturally.
So the soil, that if you do dig them up, it's absolutely gorgeous soil. And then you can just keep cutting them down, as you say. Then you get the young shoots all the time, and you can almost have them all year round. So tend your nettle patch if you can find one, or create one.
And then there's another plant that some of us pick it and give it to the rabbits.
Yes, dandelion tincture.
Dandelion.
Oops.
And what's dandelion good for?
Well, it's interesting for a start that Roundup always feature, or any weed killer always feature dandelions.
Yes.
And as we know, everything's inverted. So they go, oh, they're terrible, you need to get rid of them. But actually what you want is the opposite. You want them. And they turn up in places, especially if you do biodynamics. Is it culture? Permaculture, that's the word. Because they have a really long root.
Yes.
So they get deep down, because you want things of all different
Is
lengths.
it the iron? Are they one that does iron, or is it? What is
Well,
it?
nettles, iron and vitamin C.
Okay.
Oh yeah, nettles, iron and vitamin C,
Yes.
which are already in a parcel. Calcium, magnesium, vitamins, blah, blah, blah. But the dandelion is an absolute, again, it's a superfood.
Yeah.
And I've made it into a tincture because it's a really good cleansing, from what I'd learnt. Cleansing, and especially dandelion came up a lot when the lurgy came out, 2020. So a lot of people used dandelion as a way of combating it. But
And how did it work with combating the lurgy?
well, I think it's good for the heart and the liver.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's a cleanser, isn't it? So it's bitters. Oh, that's the other thing about bitter food. You know, it's a bit like the nettles on the skin.
Yeah.
Bitter food stimulates your digestive system, and we would have eaten a lot more bitter type foods than we do now. Again, we've gone really into bland, non-coloured, sugary, salty. Yeah. So that's another reason for just picking a few dandelion leaves out of your garden and putting it in a salad is adding to your nutritional diet hugely.
And would you wash a dandelion leaf that you picked from the garden? under the tap, or would you wash it in spring water?
Well, if you've got something, would be nicer, or your water filter. If it has water out the tap is a solution as opposed to water, isn't it? It's not really water.
What's it a solution of then?
Oh, it's got loads and loads of chemicals that are added.
Fluoride.
It's got arsenic in it. It's got loads of chemicals that have come off the farmers' fields. They also were told to put in an acid to break up the sanitizer gel that everyone used from 2020.
Chlorine? I mean, often you can smell the chlorine.
Yes. I noticed
it's got
that
loads
this
of
morning
stuff in it.
when I poured a glass of water and went to drink it, and I thought, I can't drink that. It smells like chlorine.
Totally.
So I threw it away and then poured another glass.
Yeah.
There's so many ways of looking at water. If you want to get onto water, so we did you buy a wand?
No. Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
So,
what's the wand?
So wand, have you heard of structured water?
No.
So when water that comes out of the tap, yes, we are lucky to have water on tap, but what's coming out is not really proper water. It's not how naturally it would come out the ground. It's not structured. The molecular structure has been altered by the chemical processes, and anything that the water touches, it mimics the molecular structure. So even though it's been chemically cleaned of, say, arsenic, it will still have the structure of an arsenic particle. So when the water comes out, what you can do, and it depends which level you want to go, you can get some really good filters that filter it out and get most of the stuff out. The very expensive charcoal dominantly filters that you then, and the water is lovely. It's really soft. It's more thirst quenching. Or you can distill it, which is like boiling it in a kettle, and then it comes out, but you add a sea salt to it, which puts the minerals back in because it's taken everything out. But for me, I've got a wand. So it's like got mother structured water in it, and it's glass crystal. It's not crystal. Is it glass crystal glass? You know, like you get in chandeliers. It's a really pure glass, and it's got the sort of mother structured water in it. And what you do, any type of turning water in with a vortices, because that's how in nature water cleans itself. If you've noticed that obviously there aren't any straight lines and corners in nature, but with rivers and streams you get little bits where they start going into a vortices, and that cleanses it on a molecular level and cleans it, and then it goes off. So with this wand you go round and you cleanse it, and it turns the structure of the water into structured water, and if you put it under a microscope it looks like honeycomb.
Beautiful.
Which is but what I've also researched and people have channeled, and this is what I do with my water, is I have a conversation with my water and I put my hands on it and I send love and healing to it, but it's a consciousness. It's a liquid crystal, it's unique, and this liquid crystals come from source. It's definitely come off planet. Water, it does come from inside the planet, but it's also come off the planet, and it is a consciousness. So I kind of send it healing, and I can feel it coming back to me. So this is how we could, one of the reasons we could counter any pollution, any climate change, anything, is the water. And I would presume drinking the structured water, and say you know I'm going wild swimming and I pee in the sea, then all that amazing molecular structure has gone into the sea. And that's also why people bathe in hot springs. They're so health giving, because the water is in its purest form, and it's been changed. It's not a health giving thing at the moment.
When we drink the recommended 8 glasses of water a day, that has limited health benefits from what you're saying, unless the water has been structured.
Yeah.
So what's this promotion of 8 glasses of water a day then, if it's going to do us harm? Or is that the intention?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't understand it on a level that it needs to be. Water is very misunderstood. It's not just water. It's a living crystal. It's a crystal. No other, as far as I know, no other, what would you call it, element is solid, is a gas, is a liquid, and also structured water is the fourth. What's the word?
Manifestation.
Of water. So it's a consciousness. It's got its own intelligence, and we are mostly water. It is water.
Sure.
We are so connected, and it's it's huge. And that's another reason to go swimming in the sea or rivers and stuff. Maybe not rivers. Rivers are a bit of a difficult one because they get polluted, don't they?
Yes, because the water runs off the farmland.
Yeah, that's the worst bit, the runoff.
And then also the sea I've got questions about, because...
Well, that's because they're also being polluted.
Just being polluted,
Yes.
they're dropping raw sewage dumps.
Yeah, and then don't care about the stupidly small fine that they get. And it's privately owned, and horrendous. Our basic needs.
We need to clean up our act, don't we? As human beings, we need to clean up our act and honour this beautiful elemental world that we live in all.
And that's what you two were both trying to do by being members of the Extinction Rebellion. But both of you have left. Can you tell me why you did that?
Would you like to go first? I mean, we're very different. We have very different views, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I
How did you join? Because I'm really like to know why you joined as well.
Well, because it was before the lockdown, so before I woke up, so to speak. And
why did you join?
I was very passionate, and I really liked the idea of it being direct action. I liked the fact it was creative ideas, and we would meet up, and anyone could take on, and they could come with an idea, and then people would bring that to life, so to speak. So we did some stuff where we were graffitiing around. Are we allowed to say where we live? No, around our town. Some are still out there now with messages of, species extinction. And I even got my kids involved, and we used chalk-based, non-permanent sprays and put in sort of, save our planet or, all that sort of stuff.
Which I don't think has gone away. You see, that's the thing. I think there is still the need for people to wake up to their relationship with the planet and the pollution that is going on. I still believe that this is being polluted. I don't think it's not.
No.
And I think that it's about greed. I think it's about big corporations taking over powerful everything. Even I heard, actually a couple of years ago, I think it's either Pepsi or Coca-Cola, trying to buy the aquifer. So this is huge underground resources of water in South America. And that, so when you said, I go to Jane's meditation, and of course, there isn't scarcity. There isn't scarcity.
No.
But what is happening, and it makes, I can feel myself, I shouldn't get, because it really affects my chest, this is the thing, emotionally, is that the ability of these huge corporations to buy the natural resources of this world is
to even think they can
unbelievable.
Do it.
It's the
and
mindset,
immoral,
isn't it?
and everything you could say that is wrong, even evil, I think, to take that away from humanity, which we all have access to this world, this is all of ours, and have the audacity and the pride and ego to keep going down that line, and that, so just going back to Extinction Rebellion. No, I don't want to, because you were talking about why you joined. But I'll just finish this. Anything that counters or tries to wake people up to getting governments to respond. So this is the direct way. If we come from the argument that there still are governments that we can talk to, or who will act for us. I mean, when we joined, I joined right at the beginning. We all believed that. We all believed that it was about the government not acting in its responsible way, and they have a duty to us as citizens. That's the thing. They are voted to serve us,
but they serve
and they're
themselves.
not. So that was the whole idea of taking to the streets, and from all sorts of walks of life, so many different people, young, old, all sorts. coming.
And it was amazing because I did go up to London when they did shut down half of London. That was quite a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
Showing
just
people power.
didn't do anything, I don't think.
Well, my feeling is, and I agree with the passion, because I couldn't talk to my family or most of my friends until we met up all together with like minds. But it was a taboo. Climate and climate change was a taboo. You could not, I was always being shut down, left, right and centre, and I was too much, and it was too much, and all that. What XR did was to force the issue up to the light, and so that direct action, they could not deny that. And I think that spearhead, whatever happened after that, the spearhead
at least started something.
Started so much. It started consciousness in a bigger way, like it connecting people up all around the world to have courage. You know, people who their lives are at stake. We didn't have our lives; their lives are at stake to declare about their land and their rights. So to me, it's not only about thinking about our stuff, it's about thinking about the world and those people as well. And linking with compassion to them. And it got called the something south, wasn't it called? The peoples who are not the undeveloped south, but something like the something south, where we as a group were acknowledging that there were people with less power than us, less riches, like really on the breadline.
Who were going to be the first
global
affected.
South, totally, the global South. And we were also honouring and supporting their causes. That became, it was like the first steps of the other coming on board and us all saying we are one voice. So all those things I have deep respect for, and I would not go back at all. I think that's
so,
what
but
it's,
both of you left.
Yeah.
Why did you leave?
Actually, I've not really thought about it. Why did I leave? I just didn't want to get involved anymore because I started waking up about bigger things.
The cabal.
Well, yeah, everything. But climate is still an issue, but it's on a different level, and I think we've got geoengineering. We've got they are creating tornadoes because they're very specifically sent, and there's HARP, HARRP, which is a huge, great place in Greenland, where God knows what they're doing, but they've used the energy weapons to create the tornadoes, and then something in Antarctica, and they've tracked this. But equally, on a spiritual level, we've got the elementals who create the weather and the storms and the things that are happening are cleansing and clearing the denser energies that no longer serve us, that we don't want anymore. And so there's so many levels to just weather, you know. And I woke up in the middle of the night, a few months, the end of last year, and I'd forgotten to shut the oh God, was my phone ringing? I I sunroofed my car, and it was really cloudy and windy and rainy, which is why I needed to shut it. And I just said, up in my consciousness, just sort of, you know, are you doing this deliberately? Because I could see it was like a giant iron shape, bottom of an iron, and I know that was a ship. I know that was an alien ship, and you know that's another whole thing. And a message I got was, and it was from a voice that wasn't mine. It just said, "Elementals doing their job."
Okay.
So you've got nature spirits that are working on all these elements, and so you're getting more extreme weather anyway, and it's being mucked around with. So we've got, you know, a lot to look at.
There are many strands to climate. It's not one party of one theory. There are all these different strands, but we're not being told the truth.
No. There's definitely an agenda on certain mainstream media platforms. But why did you?
So I left. So I was part of it. I made a short film. I was doing filming for it. I made a short film about the October Rebellion, because and it was piqued by being so angry at the mainstream media presenting the whole effort as a party, a festival, citing crusties and citing gay weddings, and as if it was the sort of other in our society. And all the people I knew were in, like, people, nurses or teachers, family members, all sorts of people, part of our community. And I thought, no, you're not going to get away with this. I'm going to make this film and I'm going to give them voice, and I did. But already by that time, I was so emotionally involved with it. I kept on getting ill here in my chest. And so the October, rather than the April rebellion, which was fantastic, it was in sunlight. We took over the whole. It was absolutely beautiful, actually. You had we didn't know this at the start, but the Hare Krishnas were giving out just daily sort of bowls of free food. You could walk down Hyde Park.
Yes.
It was heaven. It was. I just thought, I want all my friends to witness this, just to see how life can be so different. So there was that, but then there was the October Rebellion, which was raining, and by this time the police were ripping everything out, it was a very different. It was harsh. And that's when I made the film. But I had to leave. I wanted to stay up for 2 weeks. I had to leave off after 5 days because my health was so bad. But I did make the film, and I couldn't watch the film for a month without crying every time I saw the rushes, because these were the friends that I saw. It was all around the war statue, and I thought, these people are being carted off, elderly people, you know, rain drenched, like, you know, just hanging on to their things, saying, you know, we want the government to listen to us. And it was like a kind of, you know, just people and equipment and tents trying to protect them. And it was a bit like a war scene. It was just terrible. Yeah. And after that, I had been starting meditation. And at one meditation where I was in front of the police, the barricade in Parliament Square, and I sat with this fellow member and sat for an hour meditating, and I had this image that we were sat with these monks, all in white, sat with us, with these red flowers all sitting like across their legs, and it was before and behind the police and in front of them. And when I kind of came round, I thought, wow, okay, that's a powerful image. And then the guy, he's an actor. He's very, he was also very, very vocal. He got the Globe to stop sort of like being involved with fossil fuels. He's at the BFG, what's his name? Mark Rylance. Mark Rylance was sat literally side by side with us, and I was like, yes, we're kind of in good company. And after that, I just felt that I had other encounters with just meditation in our small town where we lived, doing a peace vigil, and I just started to believe that the spiritual was at least part of, if not the next step. I felt that we needed to envisage where we were moving to, so that the people, the warriors. I'd been a warrior. I'd done time there, and there were still people doing it. But I just felt that I wanted to be active and use my energy for, just like Jane in a way, in a more pacifist way, but in a way of awakening and also holding people, learning. I'm on a journey at the moment, learning my truth in order to hold people and sort of birth their truths and their paths. And I'm with, you know, people, really good people who are feeling the same. And I think we're part of networks that are doing the same, and I believe in that.
Because,
so that's
And where I'm at with this now is, I know that it isn't the governments, it's the people pulling the strings of the governments. And they're the people that we need to be standing up to, because there is 1,000 of them, maybe even less, and they're flying around the world in their stinking jets. They are making money out polluting and damaging this planet, and we are coming for you. That is a direct threat from the wise women. And on that note, I'm going to take direct action in my own life and make myself rich. So goodbye from me. Goodbye from
Jane. Thank you.
Natalia, goodbye.
Thank you.
Go well.
Bye-bye.
Let's go.